What if I told you that the secret to making a man sexually addicted to you has nothing to do with your looks, your body, or what you do in bed, and everything to do with how you make him feel when he's around you? Because real, lasting desire starts in the mind, lives in the heart, and only then ignites the body. Emotional safety is the invisible force that governs the way intimacy unfolds between two people. When a man feels emotionally safe with a woman, it becomes the foundation upon which every other layer of attraction is built. He may be drawn to physical beauty or flirtation at first, but it's the feeling of being deeply accepted, respected, and emotionally understood that makes him crave deeper levels of connection. Emotional safety doesn't mean being passive or overly agreeable. It means being present. It means being someone with whom he can let his guard down, share his hidden insecurities, and explore his inner world without fear of being judged, mocked, or dismissed. This safety allows him to open parts of himself that he may not show to anyone else, and once that door is open, the emotional and sexual connection becomes something he not only enjoys, but starts to depend on. A man often struggles with societal expectations that require him to suppress emotion, appear strong, and never show weakness. When he finds a woman who can gently hold space for his vulnerability, he experiences a sense of relief and comfort that is rare. And when comfort meets chemistry, desire transforms into something much more powerful, something lasting. And he stops chasing excitement outside the relationship and instead turns toward the one who gives him the kind of emotional nourishment he didn't know he was starving for. This kind of emotional safety is not created through manipulation or calculated behavior. It emerges naturally when you are grounded in your own truth, when your presence invites him to be more of himself rather than less, and when he feels seen in a way that is rare in his everyday life. Creating emotional safety also involves understanding your own emotional patterns. When you learn to listen rather than react, when you can ask questions without interrogation, and when your body language says, "You're safe here," you begin to open a deeper energetic current between the two of you. This emotional intimacy is the true gateway to sexual addiction, not the kind that's about control or obsession, but the kind that pulls him in because being with you becomes synonymous with feeling alive, accepted, and whole. When he's emotionally safe, he begins to associate you with freedom instead of pressure, and this is what awakens his full desire. A man craves a woman who makes him feel like he can breathe, like he doesn't have to perform to be loved, like he is enough. And when that level of emotional bond forms, the physical dimension of your connection becomes heightened. Your touch, your scent, your voice, everything becomes a symbol of comfort, pleasure, and emotional resonance. He won't just want to be with you, he'll need to, not out of emptiness, but because the energy you share fulfills something deeper than physical release. It becomes an emotional home for his desire. And once a man finds that, it's incredibly hard for him to let it go. Nonverbal communication is a language of its own, and when it comes to creating sexual magnetism, it often speaks louder than anything you could ever say. Words can be rehearsed or manipulated, but nonverbal cues come from the subconscious. They are honest, primal, and deeply felt. A man becomes addicted to a woman, not just because of what she says, but because of how she looks at him, how her body responds to his presence, and how her energy invites him in without pressure. A single glance, a certain tone of voice, a soft exhale, or the way your fingers trail across the surface while he's watching. All of these things build tension, arousal, and intrigue. These small, subtle acts create a magnetic field that makes him crave more without always understanding why. Eye contact, when used with intention, becomes one of the most powerful tools in this space. It's not about staring, it's about looking with presence, holding his gaze for just a moment longer, letting your eyes soften or darken depending on the emotion you're expressing. That gaze can say, "I see you," or "I want you," or even "I dare you," without a single word spoken. This kind of communication bypasses logic and touches the emotional and sensual parts of his brain directly. The same is true for tone of voice. A soft whisper, a pause before responding, a slightly lowered pitch when expressing interest. These are the signals he picks up on instinctively, whether he realizes it or not. The way you move your body around him also holds weight. If you're relaxed, fluid, comfortable in your skin, you transmit confidence and openness. The curve of your smile, the way you shift your hips when you walk, the way you lean in just slightly when he's speaking, these movements tell him you're receptive, engaged, and attuned to the energy between you. When you're disconnected from your body or overly focused on saying the right thing, the natural rhythm of sensuality gets blocked. But when you allow yourself to be in your body, to feel what you're feeling without filtering or forcing, he feels it too. He may not understand the mechanics of it, but he'll know that being around you makes his heart race, his mind wander, and his desire grow. Touch, even in the most innocent form, can become a powerful tool of seduction when combined with emotional presence. A touch on his arm while laughing, a gentle brush of your hand as you walk past him, or even the simple act of sitting close enough to feel the heat of each other's bodies. These are experiences that leave impressions on his memory and body. When used authentically and sparingly, they build an addictive rhythm that he wants to revisit again and again. These nonverbal signals create anticipation and deepen the connection, making him associate your presence not only with physical pleasure, but with emotional resonance and safety. Over time, your energy becomes addictive because it awakens both his body and his soul. Self-confidence and self-awareness are the heartbeat of true sexual magnetism. A woman who understands herself, knows her body, and owns her desires without shame becomes unforgettable. There's something undeniably captivating about someone who doesn't seek permission to exist, to feel, or to express. This kind of presence radiates from the inside out. It's not about perfection or appearance. It's about embodiment. When a woman is confident, she carries herself with a sense of ease, not because she needs attention, but because she's deeply connected to her own worth. That connection creates a ripple effect, drawing people toward her like a current. A man feels this energy instantly. It's not loud, it's not forced, it's the quiet power of a woman who doesn't need to chase because she already knows she's enough. When you are self-aware, you no longer rely on a man to define your value. You can engage fully, flirt deeply, touch playfully, and love passionately without losing yourself. That independence, that emotional sovereignty is intensely attractive. It gives him the freedom to desire you without the pressure of being your source of fulfillment. Instead of trying to earn his attention through performance, you invite him into a space where your authenticity does all the work. You don't seduce by pretending, you seduce by revealing. You understand your own rhythms, your boundaries, your sensuality, and you express them with subtlety and clarity. This makes you not just someone he wants to be with, but someone he can't stop thinking about. Confidence also allows you to take initiative in ways that feel natural. You don't wait for him to make all the moves because you trust your own instincts. Whether it's sending a certain look across the room, whispering a suggestion, or pulling back just enough to make him lean in, you are in tune with the dance. This kind of intuitive expression keeps him engaged, curious, and emotionally invested. He doesn't just respond to your physical beauty, he responds to the way you own your presence, your body language, your tone, your stillness. All of it becomes a message. I am here. I am whole, and I am not afraid of my desire. A man becomes addicted to a woman when he senses that being with her will challenge him to meet her at her level, not because she demands it, but because her energy invites it. She becomes a mirror to his own confidence, calling him to rise, not shrink. When you speak with intention, express what you want without apology, and allow your emotions to flow freely without turning them into weapons, you build a space of trust and intensity. That emotional honesty, paired with sensual presence, is a rare combination. It's what transforms attraction into obsession, not the kind rooted in fear or control, but in awe and reverence. He starts to crave the feeling he has when he's around you, because in your presence he not only feels desired, he feels more alive, more challenged, and more seen. Anticipation is one of the most powerful elements in creating deep sexual attraction, and when it's combined with playfulness, it becomes a force that keeps a man emotionally and physically hooked. Addiction doesn't come from overexposure. It comes from the art of teasing the senses, building tension, and stretching the moment between desire and fulfillment. Many people think that constant availability or intensity is the way to keep someone interested, but it's actually the gentle back and forth of mystery and play that keeps desire burning. When you bring a sense of curiosity, lightness, and unpredictability to your connection, you trigger something instinctual in him. He starts to look forward to the moments with you, not because of what you give, but because of how you make him feel in the process of waiting and wondering. Creating anticipation means not always revealing everything at once. It means letting the energy between you build gradually. A soft touch that lingers just long enough. A look that holds just a bit too long. A message that hints instead of tells. All these little gestures create a kind of electricity that lives in the space between you. This isn't about withholding affection or playing games. It's about being intentional with your energy. When you know how to feed attraction slowly, layer by layer, you leave a man hungry for more. He begins to crave your presence, not only because of how you engage him, but because of how you leave him wanting in just the right way. Playfulness adds a whole new dimension to that energy. When you're playful, you shift the dynamic from pressure to pleasure. You create a safe space for joy, laughter, and exploration. You can flirt without taking it too seriously, tease without being mean, and invite closeness without forcing it. This kind of emotional play taps into the part of him that wants to feel free, young, and alive. You're not just someone who satisfies him, you're someone who awakens him. You turn ordinary interactions into little adventures. Whether it's a random joke, a playful challenge, a spontaneous plan, or a sultry suggestion made with a smile, you become a source of excitement in his life. This excitement keeps him emotionally and physically engaged with you, not just during moments of intimacy, but throughout the day. The magic lies in contrast. When you combine emotional depth with playful unpredictability, you give him an experience that's both grounding and thrilling. He never quite knows what to expect, and that keeps his mind looping back to you. He may find others attractive, but they lack the layers you offer. The moments of connection that turn into games, the subtle glances that suggest more, the way you build heat without rushing to extinguish it. You become someone who doesn't just fulfill desire, you amplify it. And in doing so, you make him feel something rare, something memorable, something he doesn't want to live without. That's how playfulness and anticipation intertwine to create a connection he finds impossible to ignore. Being emotionally expressive without being emotionally dependent is one of the most delicate and powerful balances a woman can embody, especially when it comes to creating a lasting addictive connection with a man. Many confuse emotional expression with emotional neediness, but they are completely different. Emotional expression is about sharing your truth, showing your joy, your pain, your desire, your excitement. It's about letting someone into your inner world in a way that's vulnerable but not overwhelming. Emotional dependence, on the other hand, is when you rely on someone else to regulate your mood, validate your worth, or fix your inner discomfort. One invites closeness while the other creates pressure. A man becomes drawn to a woman who shares herself openly, not because she needs him to carry her emotions, but because she trusts him enough to witness them. When you are emotionally expressive, you allow your feelings to be seen. You don't hide behind indifference, silence, or manipulation. You speak with honesty. You might say how something makes you feel, what you need, or what excites you, and you do it from a place of ownership, not blame. That self-awareness is magnetic. It shows that you're in tune with yourself, that you're not afraid of your own depth. This is especially powerful in a world where so many people are disconnected from their emotions or afraid to feel too much. When a man sees that you can hold your emotions without collapsing under them, he starts to feel safe to express his own. He starts to associate you with freedom rather than responsibility. He doesn't feel like he has to fix you, and that makes him want to be closer. At the same time, emotional independence gives you an edge that's irresistible. It shows that you love deeply but not blindly, that you care without clinging, that you feel fully but you don't lose yourself in the process. This kind of woman becomes a mirror, a reflection of what's possible when strength and softness exist together. A man may enjoy a surface-level connection with someone who's emotionally passive, but he becomes captivated by the woman who can cry without shame, laugh without restraint, and speak her heart without fear of rejection. She is real, she is raw, and she is grounded. He knows she wants him, but she doesn't need him to be whole. This balance builds trust and mystery at the same time. It tells him, consciously or not, that you're capable of intimacy but not desperate for it, that you invite connection, not dependency. You can listen with depth, respond with compassion, and still walk away with your head high if the connection isn't aligned. That self-respect is powerful. It makes him feel honored to be chosen by you, not responsible for completing you. And over time, that makes your emotional energy not just desirable, but addicting, because you give him the rare experience of being both wanted and free, seen and safe, loved without being needed as a crutch. And when a man feels like he is the only one who truly has your attention, your energy, and your desire, it creates a powerful imprint on his mind and body. It's not about isolating yourself or pretending that no one else exists. It's about the way you make him feel chosen. In a world where many people are constantly distracted, where attention is fragmented and validation is spread thin across social media and shallow encounters, being fully present with one person becomes a rare and intoxicating experience. When you look at him like he matters, when you touch him like his body is familiar and sacred, when you speak to him like his thoughts are important, you awaken a part of him that yearns to be seen in that exact way. It's the feeling of exclusivity, not in ownership, but in emotional focus that stirs his longing for you again and again. A man may encounter many women who are attractive or even emotionally available, but what makes someone unforgettable is the sense that he holds a unique place in your world, not because he's perfect, not because you flatter him endlessly, but because you reflect back to him the parts of himself he rarely shows to anyone else. You respond to his individuality, his laugh, his voice, his silence, his contradictions. You don't just react to the surface, you engage with the depth. When you're able to mirror back who he is, not just who he presents himself to be, he starts to associate your presence with emotional homecoming. You become the one who reminds him of who he really is underneath the masks, the one who makes him feel not only desired, but deeply understood. This connection doesn't grow from constantly proving your worth or trying to impress him. It grows from your capacity to hold attention with intention. The little things matter. How you lean in when he speaks, how you notice the slight changes in his mood, how you remember the stories he tells and circle back to them later. These small gestures communicate that he's not just one of many options, but someone you have chosen to connect with on purpose. This doesn't mean you lose your independence or that your world revolves around him. It means that when you're with him, you're truly with him. You're not split between your phone and the conversation or waiting for him to prove something. You're present, engaged, and emotionally available in a way that few people are willing to be. And when a man experiences this kind of focused, intentional energy, it bonds him to you. He begins to crave it. It becomes a kind of intimacy that exceeds physical attraction because it touches a part of him that's often ignored or misunderstood. You make him feel singular. And when he feels that, he starts to want to give you that same depth in return. This creates a loop of emotional reciprocity and desire that grows stronger each time it's reinforced. You're no longer just a romantic interest, you're a psychological and emotional anchor. And that's what makes the connection feel addictive. When you blend emotional depth, sensual awareness, playful energy, and genuine presence, you create a connection that a man doesn't just enjoy, he craves. Sexual addiction in its healthiest, most intimate form isn't built on manipulation or performance. It's born from authenticity, vulnerability, and the powerful energy exchange between two people who see and feel each other fully. When you create emotional safety, communicate through your body, stand rooted in your confidence, play with anticipation, express your heart without losing your self-worth, and make him feel uniquely chosen, you awaken a bond that moves beyond the physical. You become the woman whose energy lingers in his mind, whose presence feels like home, and whose absence feels like a void he longs to fill. This is not about pleasing or chasing. It's about becoming the kind of woman who naturally draws deep desire because she leads with truth, grace, and irresistible emotional power.